Ba-da-da-da-da. We're back. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Doc. Smoking Cigars with Howlinblind, 9/11 tribute. There's my Bolivar Confradia 654 Oscuro, tasting oh so delicious. These come in the box uncellophane. That's called Cuban style, because you will not find any hand-rolled Cuban cigars with cellophane on them. The only Cuban cigars with cellophane are the machine-made cigars, which are fantastic. We were talking about Van Jones and the fact that he's a 9/11 truther. See, so that makes him a wacko, a kook, a nut, a pinhead, as Bill O'Reilly would say. Excuse me. Not the fact that he's a communist and he wants to he wants to radically change America. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. I'm a pretty rational guy. I think I'm a pretty level-headed guy. My vice is cigars and blues and fried food. But I'm a 9/11 truther also. Just because someone wants to know exactly what happened on September the 11th, 2001 in New York City at the World Trade Centers, Building 1, 2, and 7. And just because we want to know exactly what hit the Pentagon that day and exactly what went down in those fields in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, does not make me a nut, a kook, and a pinhead, Bill O'Reilly. Wanting to hide the truth and not bring the truth out makes the person who's wanting to hide the truth and not bring the truth out a conspirator. It's a conspiracy not to want to bring the truth out. And it's been already stated by people on the 9/11 Commission that they were lied to. So Van Jones, for whatever reason, don't let the reason be because he was a 9/11 truther. I mean, he might have been a nut, a kook, and a wacko on other things, but just because he was a 9/11 truther and thought that the George Bush administration had something to do with 9/11 does not make him a kook. I don't know if George Bush allowed those planes to hit. I don't know if he had prior knowledge. I don't know if he was in on the planning. I don't know. That's why I want another investigation into 9/11. That's why Charlie Sheen wants another investigation. Just because Charlie Sheen, look up on Alex Jones, and you can find the document, 20 Minutes with the President by Charlie Sheen. It's an open letter that he would like to have a conversation with Barack Obama about a new investigation into 9/11. This is the 8th year. 8 years ago, in 2 days, 8 years ago, we were attacked by terrorists on American soil. Everybody said this was the first time anything like this had happened in this country since Pearl Harbor. I remember making the statement that day, this is not supposed to happen in this country. And it wasn't. There have been things set up to prevent that. Okay, when they first found out 4 airplanes were hijacked, NORAD, North American, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's They're set up to send up fighter pilots to find out why these airplanes are off track or whatever. When they found out they were hijacked, each plane should have had 2 fighter jets riding side by side with them to find out what was going on. They weren't. Who called those shots? Who was the man who said, oh, let's don't send those airplanes up there? I want to know what happened that day. If we were really attacked, if it was a real attack by Al-Qaeda and bin Laden was calling the shots, I want to know why it wasn't stopped. That doesn't make me a wacko, a kook, and a nut. I want to know why those airplanes wasn't stopped. See how much time I got. And you should want to know too. As an American citizen, there's a lot of people who say, I don't want to know. Because if it turns out that our government did this, I don't want to know. You need to know. You need to know what your government is up to. And if it turned out that George Bush, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and Condoleezza Rice were in on this, we need to know it. And then they need to go to jail. And if Barack Obama knows about it and he's covering up, he needs to go to jail too. So we need another investigation, a thorough investigation. There's been enough people who've done documentaries and movies who've brought out some really good points. If their points had been brought out that were not credible points, I wouldn't be sitting here also calling for a second investigation. Charlie Sheen wouldn't be asking for a new investigation. And I think it's 60% of the American people wouldn't be asking for a second investigation. Right after 9/11 happened, the victims' families were calling for a true investigation. No one has ever truly been 100% satisfied with the answers given to us by the 9/11 Commission. Not even the fellows on the 9/11 Commission. So Van Jones may be a kook and a nut in other areas, but not because he's a 9/11 truther. I want to know what happened that day. And I think I'm a rational guy. But I'm not a communist. I'm more a libertarian. I just want to know. I'm an American citizen. I have the right to know. And our government sometimes says, well, we didn't want to tell the American people because we didn't want to get them scared. That's bull. What I wanted to show you, and I doubt if I'll be able to find it again, was on 9/11, when Rudolph Giuliani was coming out of Building 7, because that's where his headquarters was set up. He said something about he was told the building was going to fall. And then later it was confronted that the building was imploded. Well, there's a video out called Fabled Enemies. You need to watch it. And they ask him in that video about it. They say, you know, who told you the building was going to fall? And he said, no one told me that building was going to implode. I can't believe they didn't jump onto him right then and there about the fact that he said that it imploded. He had basically admitted that the building imploded. I'm going to take a short break and come back with the final segment on this 9/11 tribute. And we'll be right back.